Good afternoon. My name is Scott Redler, Chief Strategic Officer at T3Lab.com. Welcome to today's recap and look ahead. It's Monday, so the market started off on a positive foot. Italy basically said no, and last night futures were down. European indices went from red to green, and all of a sudden our futures were up, and today wound up being a positive session. Definitely lots of rotation and divergences, but things to do. I thought today was kind of constructive, considering that oil opened up, so you could have sold some into strength, and then same way tech has been beaten up, you could have bought the dip, and rotated around. Same way on Friday, I bought the Russell, the IWM, considering it pulled back for 4 days, and moving around and trading, looking for trades versus looking for tops, massaging positions, not chasing, but also not shorting in the hole. But anyway, overall, let's go right to the charts. S&P cash. I'm going to buzz through these things. This was your S&P up, sell off into the election. Then right here is when the election happened. Got above the descending trend line here. Digestion, boom, made a little peak, broke above 2193, came back, retested it, and now it's building an upper range again. Does this mean it's going to fail because it didn't close on highs and go to the 21-day tomorrow? I don't know. All I know is I think it's pretty constructive that, basically it's hanging up here. You saw a bit of a move, 25 handles worth of a decline, while the oscillators went from plus 70 to minus 6, and now we're back plus 25, so we'll see. Okay, the IWM, wound up also having a nice day today. Okay, this was your igniting bar. This was your gap up that wound up giving you some follow through to here. This is the short signal that everyone was looking for, at least the ones that were trapped in here. And then you had a pullback. Okay, not a crazy pullback, but from what? 130, what was this? 134.10 down to 130, 4 points. Yeah, it was worth buying some. If we opened down, I would have bought more. So instead, you end up having a good day. I don't think it's going to be at all-time highs tomorrow, but now you have a gap to trade against. What's the gap to trade against? That's 131.89. The more we do work above that, the higher the probability, we make new highs. XLE, which had a big move, okay, actually didn't sell off with oil, okay, but still hanging constructive, just didn't make new highs. I'd love to see it hang a little bit more before going. And then the Qs that were at the bottom end of the range played a little catch-up today. It's nice to see. Doesn't mean it's going to go back to highs either, just a trade. Okay, why was it a trade? It got above Friday's high and, came to the moving averages, which is what we listed in Redler All Access as resistance. Okay, now here's your channel, and at this point, it's kind of not as oversold as it was, but also, not overbought and kind of broken still. So you take your trades in there. Going to some names, I've been trying Amazon, and then finally Amazon had its day one. What do I mean by day one? Well, it was rejected here at 792, so I bought it today when it took out the prior high. What was this prior high? 748-ish, and it closed pretty well. Took back the 8-day. I'm long a little overnight. I'm not expecting a big move back to 790, but maybe you get a little follow through. Okay, last time it cleared a pivot, had a nice move. Here, a bit of a higher low, not that constructive, but worth looking at. Maybe if you took it home today, close near the highs, you get a little bit more, okay, tomorrow. Same with Facebook. Facebook is something I trade a lot. It's definitely damaged. I'm not sure what that is, but I'll get rid of it. I talked about in my note about the potential for a double bottom. It's very thin. We've seen double bottoms before. This might be one, might not be one. It's strong today, closed on high. So in a little bit, I'm not expecting much. Maybe I'm, looking for 50 cents to $1 to get run over by a broken stock. We shall see. But as of now, low, double bottom, maybe you get a little bit more. It's not like it's up 5 days in a row into resistance. It's still a little bit more. So I took a little bit. A lot of guys, are trading the names that are the strongest. If you are, okay, well, this one's still, not making a new high yet. So EWG is still hanging in there. See how much longer it has to stay up there. What did DVN do today? DVN also, not a whole heck of a lot since this gap up. Let it digest this, I guess, before it continues. What did Halliburton do today? These are all the oil names that have been having big moves that, are not making new highs. Doesn't mean it's game over. Just means that they've had big moves that they're digesting. So we'll see. The banks, wow, one day lower and then all of a sudden highs. Okay, so if all you want to do is short the banks, be careful. Everyone's talking about shorting the banks. You know what? Just because it's a down day and you think it's extended to buy, it doesn't mean it's a short. Anyway, new highs here on Goldman Sachs. Hard to buy, but doesn't mean it's a short. JP Morgan, what'd you do today? Look at that, new highs. Here is your bull flag. 8-day caught up, continuation to the upside, one down day, held the prior high, above the 8-day, new highs. Just because of one down day doesn't mean you just get shorted. Anyway, that's been the strongest sector. What else? Some of the more broken names that have been in vogue, like this. Some of you guys were looking at this CLF today to clear here. Congratulations, that's a nice setup. Cleared it. Maybe hold some for a little bit of follow through. Here was your last nice bull flag. Gave you 4 days. Let the 8-day catch up. Boom. The steel stocks. Wow. X. Okay. Here was a gap up and came into the 8-day, engulfed this on Friday. So hopefully if you saw this engulfing move, you got out of your short because you thought it couldn't go up anymore. Well, engulfed, had a little follow through. Good job if you're in it. I'm not. I'm just pointing out how, you want to stick with trends and not fight them. Again, if you don't think it's a long and it's too extended, doesn't necessarily mean it's a short. This too, what do we talk about? If it's above the 8-day and the 21 days, is it a long or a short? It's a long, okay, or it's an avoid. And this one had a nice move. Bull flag, continuation, little extended, came in. What did it do? Held the 8-day, was above the 21-day, and now it's turning back up. Stop fighting moves and stop looking at all the bears on Twitter. Look at the setups, look at the technicals. Above the 8 and 21-day, try and be long, try and buy dips, try and rotate. Below them, you know what? Get tactical and maybe look for some H-cell setups of some shorts. But until then, keep rotating with the money. On Friday, we talked about buying the EWG. Or on Thursday, sorry, I have some in my eye. If you're Redler All Access, I tweeted the fact on Friday. I'm buying the $25 calls. Okay, the January. It's just because the EWGs have done a whole lot of nothing, right? A whole lot of nothing. Let me show you what a whole lot of nothing looks like. This is a whole lot of nothing. Wow, Germany, a whole lot of nothing. Anyway, here's your descending, trend line. Here is it down here. I'm like, you know what? They bought Brexit. They bought post-election here. So maybe they'll, buy Europe, especially the DAX, to play a little catch-up. So bought some calls. You have a gap up now to trade against, and maybe we'll see if it could reclaim this. Last time you had a gap up like that, it went for 4 days, continued. Let's see, where else have you had these like pro-gap moves? Well, anyway, decent gap up. We'll see if it gets to there. Maybe I was going to sell 20% today, but I said, you know what, it hasn't done anything. So let me just sit in it. I had till January 20th, so I didn't sell any. If it fails, it is what it is. Thursday is the ECB. There were some weaker things. Apple was weak. Okay, didn't touch Apple once today. We'll see what happens. I actually stayed away because I was just, the whole China, Taiwan, et cetera, et cetera. I'm like, maybe Apple gets pressured. Well, hit the 200-day bounced off it. Not saying this is a low and a higher low, but you shall see. It doesn't look like much of a long or a short here, more of an avoid. Some guys are upset because Netflix was down today. Netflix was down today probably because it was up on Friday. Yeah, because it had a good chart, but also because there was, talk that Disney was going to take them out. So it didn't happen, so the fast money gets out. So now it's still kind of hanging around, but, it is what it is. Didn't have, maybe today if you bought the dip, great, and we'll see if it hangs above this to continue to the upside. Tesla, some of you guys were talking about a day one. Yeah, you know what? Day ones are okay, but you have to just be careful. This was we've had some, day ones in Tesla that made us money. This one, you had to sell fast. This one, you could have bought the down open and had a 3-day move, and now here's another day one, maybe crossed a prior high, and just a lot of resistance. These aren't the places to sit. You could trade them. It was up 5. You could make money with things up 5, but these broken trends are broken trends. What did the metals do today? GLD. Let's see, GLD, did you play with me? You know what, another down open that wound up being bought. It went below prior pivot, came back above, still, I wouldn't be short here, but, I don't know about being long, but at some point, maybe get this some traction. I'm just going to avoid. This was your sell. Here was election day. This potent red engulfing bar said, get out of the metals. You also had a little bit of, move in the TLTs, but still a choppy mess. I would just say avoid. There's harder things out there, or easier things, than trading this. And again, this was below the moving averages here, below the 200 days before the election, and now it's just been trending below the 8-day. Remember, above the 8 and 21-day, you try and be long. That was a nice move. Remember when that happened? That was back in the beginning of 2016, above the 8-day, all the way to the 21-day until then, outside day. And now here, it's been below the 8 and 21-day pretty much since the beginning of October. That's how you know short-term momentum moves. Well, in closing, we'll see what happens tomorrow. Hopefully Europe plays a little catch-up that'll help Redler All Access. Maybe we get a day and a half trade in some of these tech names, maybe more. S&P held where it had to, so did the Russell. And it doesn't mean it's going to make new all-time highs tomorrow, but it doesn't mean you just blindly short it. I don't see excessive euphoria or giddiness out there, like where you have to sell everything because everyone's high-fiving this rally. People still aren't high-fiving this rally, in my opinion. So let's continue to make some money in a calculated fashion, keep netting some trades, and hopefully it adds up for a good December for you. I'll see you at the morning call tomorrow. Bye-bye.